Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at the Battlefield 1 open beta. Just launched today officially. I had it yesterday, so I got to do a little extra recording. Let's just jump right in. Wait. What? God damn it, EA. Right, so the Battlefield beta just launched this morning. It's a little buggy, but I think it's pretty fun. The first thing you'll notice if you played Battlefield 4 in the last couple of weeks is that they updated it to look just like Battlefield 1's going to. I'd love to show you the main menu, but when I went to record it, the beta decided not to work. So I'm just going to have to deal with that later. Luckily, I did play a lot last night with my early access code, so we're just going to use that. Now, I think it's hilarious that Battlefield has taken the idea that people have been giving Call of Duty for the last 6 or 7 years, make another World War I game, and they've decided to do it themselves. Choosing to go back to World War I was a very interesting decision, considering the downgrade in technology that we all are going to experience from Battlefield 4, versus Call of Duty's space battles, which is a dumb idea in and of itself. I don't mean to rip on Call of Duty, I just don't like them. Yeah. Okay, now this particular Battlefield beta only features 2 game modes, Conquest and Rush. I'm a huge fan of Conquest, so that's the majority of what I played, but Rush is interesting in its own right. It's just a little too small for me. Now they did update Conquest a little bit in this version. It is still 32 on 32 large-scale combat, but this time they've opted for a more domination-style Conquest where only capturing flags and holding them matters. It's a welcome change to the classic game mode that I enjoy. Of course, this isn't a beta, so I'm not expecting a complete game. However, it is rather boring to play on the same map for more than an hour or two. Just saying. The next thing I want to talk about is the classes. In Battlefield 1, there are 4 classes, very similar to Battlefield 4. However, they've opted to remove the Engineer class and add a new Medic class. This means the 4 classes are now Assault, Medic, Support, and Recon. They've now changed the Assault class so it is more anti-tank based, added the Medic class to be the repairman for both the tanks and the people, and Support and Recon function the same. Support giving your teammates ammo, and Recon being more of a scout sniper variety. I prefer Recon, but I gave all the classes a shot just to see what different gadgets they all offered. As I said before, Assault is more anti-tank based, meaning that all the gadgets are now based around destroying tanks. They are the only class capable of using the anti-tank grenade, and all their guns are fully automatic, at least as far as I can tell. This is a point that's going to come up a lot. The game has some very, very glaring balancing issues. One of the bigger ones being the fully automatic weapons are ridiculously overpowered, meaning the Assault class is somewhat ridiculously overpowered. I'll come back to that shortly, but just keep that in mind for later. The next class, the Medic, is more of a team player. Medics are capable of throwing out bandages to heal their teammates, and they're also capable of reviving people. I love you, Medics. Thank you for healing me. The Medic class features a combination of semi-automatic and automatic weapons, but both are kind of built for more mid-range combat. The Support class are the people who carry the extra bullets. That's their main purpose, at least. They sport a variety of very, very fun-to-use light machine guns. You may be wondering to yourself, why aren't the LMGs overpowered if they're fully automatic? Well, the recoil on LMGs is a little bit over the top. When you first pull the trigger, the gun kind of goes wherever it wants to until you can get it back under control. This makes them a great weapon for hip firing, but you can't really hip fire anybody past close range, so they're not overpowered. On to my personal favorite, the Recon class. The Recon class features a variety of long-range rifles, some with scopes, some without. It was with these rifles that I could tell where they were talking about different rifles having different variants. The 3 rifles available in the beta had a couple of different variants. Some were marksman rifles, some were sharpshooter rifles, and some were just the rifle in its base form. Basically, this means that the rifle you choose directly affects the range of the weapon. Now, unlike in Battlefield 4, the Recon class doesn't have spawn beacons or any explosives, but what they do have are flare guns. To be honest, I'm pretty sure that the spotting flare gun is broken, but the flash flare gun is a lot of fun to use. The light it emits is literally blinding, in real life. The first time I shot it, it was almost the end of me. All in all, With the exception of the assault fully automatic weapons, nothing really seems too overpowered, and everything's pretty fun. Which takes me to my next topic, vehicles. Tank Squad, what's up? So towards the end of my Battlefield 4 career, I really found that I liked using tanks. The tanks in Battlefield 1 are even more fun. I have to admit, I was a little confused when they said they were going to have classes for the vehicles, but in the beta I see how it works out. Instead of there being certain vehicles at every spawn, there are a certain number of planes, horses, and tanks at every spawn. When spawning at your home base, you can choose which plane, tank, or horse to take out. There were 4 varieties of tanks you could choose from and 3 varieties of planes, but only 1 horse, because it's a horse. I noticed that the tanks had a lot more seats this time around, and if you just so happened to be in the heavy tank, you were basically a one-squad killing machine. Tank Squad! If you don't have somebody in your squad running assault, you are kind of screwed when it comes to vehicles. I never actually tried flying because I'm pretty sure I'd hate it, but being in a plane is now no longer such an antiseptic experience as I describe it in Battlefield 4. All the vehicles seem a lot heavier and a lot more responsive to the ground you're on as opposed to just kind of running through everything. Also, this time around, the planes aren't just one-seater vehicles, which means that you can have a little more fun with your friends as opposed to just kind of being in a jet alone, scared, waiting to be shot down, contemplating life and all that it has to offer. Moving on. The last vehicle class, horses, are a new addition and are kind of fun. When you get on a horse, you'll get a bolt-action rifle that you can only fire from the hip, and a saber. Horses are fast and unbelievably difficult to shoot, so if you want to be a real ass, you can just run around in circles with that sword out and slice people to death. It's incredibly fun. I wouldn't say horses are overpowered, they're just kind of there. The only complaint I have about horses is the only person who's on it is the rider. It would be nice to at least be able to spawn on the back of somebody's horse, but maybe that's just me. Of course, there is one vehicle that I have yet to mention, and that will be the Armored Train. So the Armored Train is a 6-seated mobile tank that is basically designed to wipe everything along a certain line of the map. Even considering all the guns it has, though, it's really not overpowered. The spawning for the train seems a little random. It only goes along one line on the map, and the one time I decided to get on the train, it got destroyed in like a minute. That's not to say I didn't have a blast while I was on it, it's just, not overpowered. The last thing I wanted to say about vehicles is that they changed the way the vehicles get repaired. In Battlefield 4, the vehicles repair themselves basically after you've been out of combat for a while, but in Battlefield 1, the vehicles need to be manually repaired by the driver. I think that's a very good idea. Good job, DICE. That's all I really have to say about vehicles. The last thing I need to talk about is this map. This map, though. No, but really, it's actually, beautiful. It obviously doesn't look nearly as good as the high-end PC they were running for the trailer, but I can kind of see where a PC with a lot more power could do exactly that. The only map in the beta is the Sinai Desert map, which is fine with me. I mean, it's big and it's fun. They did showcase dynamic weather a little bit with the addition of sandstorms and fog. If you ever have played Metal Gear Solid 5, you know just how fucked these sandstorms can be. Visibility goes down to basically nothing, and it's just a mess of shadows you're shooting at until somebody pops out of just the edge of your vision, and you get shot in the face. It's especially difficult to be a recon player this time because you really can't see anybody at a distance. But if you get really good at it, you can take them out. It's a little bit of a skill there. I like it. I'm not sure if fog was supposed to be in this map because it almost doesn't make sense that there's fog in the middle of a desert, but I'm going to roll with it. The fog and the sandstorm are kind of similar, except the fog lets you see just a little bit further than the sandstorm does. Instead of being damn near impossible to snipe, it's now just a little harder. Being in a plane in either of these dynamic weather events is pretty bad. You kind of need to see to fly. It's just common sense. Now, they said that the Levolution would be a lot different in Battlefield 1 and that every building could be destroyed. I did notice that the buildings never got completely leveled. There were no grand scale evolutions in this map that I could see, at least. But still, watching every building's walls crumble and turn to dust was really enjoyable. And did I mention that game looked good? It looked damn good. When bombers would drop bombs on areas, there would be a crater there for the rest of the game, making it a little hidey hole that you could hide in if you really got stuck in a bind. Walls would crumble, and make buildings a little more difficult to hide in, sometimes eliminating entire floors entirely. It was just fun, chaotic, refreshing. I do wish there were more grand scale evolutions like in Battlefield 4, like in Siege of Shanghai when the entire building collapses as opposed to just walls falling off and floors disappearing. That being said, I ain't mad at them. With the exception of some very, very big connection issues, thank you EA for doing that again, and some balancing issues with the fully automatic nature of assault rifles, I'd say that this served as a pretty good playtest for Battlefield 1. I enjoyed myself and I'm going to keep playing it until it ends on September 8th. Don't just take my word for it though, go play it yourself. It's out on Xbox One, PS4, and PC right now, for free. Thanks EA. This is the only thing you've done that I've liked in like, when did Mass Effect 3 come out? That's it for now. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, hit that subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.